Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life show. When you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate it with chronic disease? We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we flip that whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and our lives.
Welcome to the place where chronically means healthy, wealthy, joyful, and ridiculous alive. Let's flip the script together. Now, today we have a special guest for you. Her name is Beth Iaciofano. I'm sure I didn't say it right.
You
But
did. You did. Thank you for having me.
Beth, why don't you tell the audience about yourself?
Well, I'm an educator of 20 years. I'm a certified energetic alignment and mindset coach. And I'm also a wife. I'm a mom of three, one of which has special needs. And I'm a speaker. I'm a whole bunch of things. I wear a lot of hats.
So you mentioned that you have a daughter with special needs. Um, how did that change your life into doing what you do today?
Well, Hannah's 26. She's non-speaking. And I think how that, she actually was the catalyst. She was the beginning of my journey and my transformation. I really felt like because of her needs, I needed more help. I needed more help from not only those around me, but from energy. And I was having a really, really hard time. And I was going through a divorce, and I just was not healthy. And I started picking up pieces, energetic pieces of a puzzle to help me navigate and listen to my inner knowing. Because when you have a child, anybody who's a parent, there's a lot of decisions that you need to make, and you need to learn to trust the decisions that you're making. And I was having a hard time with that. I was scared because she had these needs, and I'm like, oh my God, am I making the right choice? What do I do here? So I really started picking up pieces of a puzzle and started reading more. Crossing Over with John Edward was a show that I used to watch all the time.
Right.
And I was just hungry for energy work. I was hungry to understand how I fit into this universe, how Hannah and I, how we came together and how we fit into this piece of the puzzle. So that's really how it started. She was absolutely 100% the catalyst to me wanting to figure out who I am and why I'm here, really.
So your daughter is the catalyst that brought you into the energy world. Um, but is that where you started though? Did you start with the traditional medical methods, or did you try something else before you switched to energy? Is that why you did it?
Well, with Hannah, do you mean? Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, I was going to multiple doctors trying to figure out what was wrong, how to help her, what services did I need. The energy work is more not like Reiki, not that type of energy work. It's looking within and
Mm,
figuring out how my mindset could help me, how a shift in my mindset. Because when the neurologist first told me that Hannah, she very bluntly said, after Hannah had had testing, MRIs and a bunch of different things, she was 2 years old at this point, and we went back to the neurologist for a diagnosis. And she diagnosed her with PDD NOS, which is pervasive development disorder, not otherwise specified, and it fits under the umbrella of autism.
mhm.
And I said to her, well, what does this mean? And she said, well, if you're asking me if she'll ever be normal, the answer is no. And she literally just said it right out straight like that. And I was devastated. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do now? I have this child with special needs. She's never going to be quote unquote normal, which I hate that word because what does normal mean? Um, but yeah, I went through the doctors and geneticists and neurologists and a gamut to try to figure out how best to support her. But what I found the best way to support her was to change my own mindset. And what am I making this diagnosis mean? I made it mean that I was a bad mom, that I did something wrong when I was pregnant. I made it mean that she was never going to be happy, that we were going to live this life of struggle. So once I learned over the years to shift my mindset and what I made that mean, it opened me up to changing it in lots of other ways in my life, eventually leading me 26 years later here speaking with you two, and having the embodiment of a new way of being, a new way of walking through the world that is supportive as opposed to detrimental to my health.
That is so powerful. I think when it comes to caregivers of autistic children or anyone on the spectrum, they're living in survival mode,
Mm-hmm.
and they're always blaming themselves of it must have been something that happened with me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe something I ate, something I was exposed to,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it gets really hard for them to shift to a different mindset. Like, how do you help people make that shift, right? Because they are just, to be honest, for the people that I know that have people on that spectrum, every day is just they're grateful just to get it by, you know?
Yeah, you're in fight or flight,
Yeah.
absolutely, because literally it was 1 second at a time. It wasn't even a minute or a day at a time. It was sometimes 1 second at a time. She's screaming, what does she need?
Mhm.
But I didn't have the tools back then that I have now, but I wasn't meant to. I was meant to go through what I went through and to learn in order to get where I am today. So what I would say to anybody struggling is to, number one, be aware.
Mhm.
What's happening inside your body? What are you feeling? Are you feeling a heaviness? Are you feeling neck pain? Are you feeling a headache? What's happening? What are you thinking? What's happening around you? And I know it's hard for some people to take time to themselves, but even if it's going into the bathroom, making sure your child is safe, going into the bathroom and just crying,
Mhm.
or closing your eyes for 2 seconds, doing whatever brings you peace. Bring your cup of tea into the bathroom where it's quiet. Finding some way to shift your energy, because when we're stuck in that fight or flight, that's fear. It's fear based, and when you're stuck down there, the energy of that emotion is very low frequency. It damages the cells of the body. That's why we feel heavy. There's a heaviness in our chest when we feel grief or sadness or fear or anger. Literally, that emotion is evoking. It's low vibration, as opposed to when we're feeling peace and joy and happiness. That frequency is very high.
Mhm.
I'm not saying go from fear to happiness, but do something to elevate the energy. Maybe instead of being in shame and guilt, go up to fear, because that's a jump up. Shame and fear are the two lowest vibrating emotions that we have as humans. So even if I can get out of that shame or that guilt of what did I do to produce a child like this? What did I eat? I went to exactly what you said.
Mhm.
What did I eat? What did I drink? What environment am I in? And if you can do something to elevate, that's the beginning, because then you can look at something and say, okay, my child's having a meltdown, but I'm breathing. I'm able to help my child. I'm here. That's a positive. Or the sun is shining. That's a positive. It's not raining anymore. I have a beautiful cup of tea that's hot, feels good in my throat. Find some nugget of light in the darkness. And it's a life preserver, because it is, when your child is young like that, it is literally second to second. And sometimes a day is going to go by where you can't find something positive, and that's okay. No judgment, no judgment. You're surviving, but reach out for help. And that's what I learned to do. I was not good about asking for help, and I learned. My daughter was the most important teacher for me, because she helped me with all the demons I had within, all the struggles I had within. Boy, did she bring them up, because I had to deal with them. I don't like asking for help. Well, okay, what's the alternative? To go crazy or to ask for help? So the first thing is just being aware. What are you telling yourself about this situation, and does it support you? If it doesn't, shift it. I thought I was a bad mom. I had so much evidence to support I was a good mom. But I decided, I chose to focus on, well, I had this child with these struggles, so I must have done something wrong. As opposed to, okay, I had this child with struggles. I'm here for her. I'm looking for answers. I love her. I'm playing with her. I'm feeding her. I'm supporting her. I have so much more evidence to support I'm a good mom, right? But we tend to go to the negative.
I think that's beautiful, Beth. I think there's so many other people out there they think they're detours, they think they are somehow stuck. And how you handle it with your mindset, I think that's beautiful. And I think it's actually a doorway into your calling, right? And I know that we're talking about the topic today is inner alignment. So let's go there. Why don't you tell us about what inner alignment really means?
Inner alignment means it's a feeling of peace and security. It's a knowing, it's an inner knowing. When you feel aligned, it means you're sure. Like, if let's say you get a job, someone calls you and says, oh, I have this job and this is what it's going to be. Stop, take a second, listen to your body, because your body knows. Your brain talks you out of it. Listen to your body. So what does that feel like? We all know about that gut feeling, right? When you walk into a room and it just feels off. It just energetically feels off. You don't know why. Or when you meet someone and they just don't feel right. Or they do feel right. Listening to your body is so, so important. So inner alignment means paying attention when something feels right. Listening to your body. And oftentimes I grew up not listening to my body. I didn't understand what that meant. Even as an adult, when I first started delving into this work, like, what do you mean listen to your body? What is that? What do you mean? But literally it's stopping and saying, okay, do I have a heaviness in my chest? Can I picture myself doing this thing and being happy? And a lot of times when I say that, can I picture myself doing this? I'll say, yeah, I can. But then my brain goes to, but how much money am I going to make? What's going to be the drive to get to that job? What am I going to do with my daughter? So we listen to our body and say, yeah, this job feels right. But then our ego kicks in, our brain kicks in and says, oh, but you've got this problem, this problem, this problem, and this problem. Mm-hmm. So we tend to focus on that and say, oh, well, I can't do the job then. Instead of saying, if it feels right, it is right, and everything else will fall into place. But it takes trust. And that's what I help my clients with, going from doubt to trust by listening to their body and tapping into that inner alignment.
I love that. I love that. We're going to take a short break, and I want to dive in a little bit more about, how people can listen to inner alignment. But before we go, is inner alignment similar to intuition?
Absolutely. It's 100% the same thing.
Perfect. We're going to leave, we're going to stop right here on that segment. We'll have a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we are something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. It all starts with your body and a little help from light. Place one LifeWave X39 patch on body. Apply the patch to clean, dry skin in the morning. Patches may be worn for up to 12 hours before discarding. Keep well hydrated while using this product. Harness your natural potential. Reclaim youthful energy. Live long, live well, live young. with LifeWave X39. Be the light. LifeWave.
Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Coolness, Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. It's time to unlock your inner glow with Coolness. Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
Welcome back to Chronically Healthy Life. We have Beth Iaciofano.
Iaciofano, you got it.
And we're talking about inner alignment today. So Beth, let's talk a little more about how our body let us know when we are out of alignment and how it can become a bigger health issue.
Oh, it can become a huge health issue. So the biggest way to identify when you're out of alignment is how you feel. So there's David R. Hawkins came up with something called the map of consciousness. And it's a map that basically shows all the emotions and their energetic frequency. And that correlates to how it feels in the body. So happiness, joy, peace, love, those are all very high frequency. Love is at 500. Shame and guilt are at 20 and 30. So you can hear, you see the difference between those two numbers. So when we're feeling anger, grief, sadness, any of the low frequency vibration emotions, we're out of alignment with our higher self, because our higher self is pure love. That's the way you can identify when you're out of alignment, because you're feeling these emotions. They are not, I never ever tell my clients that there are bad emotions. There's no such thing as a bad emotion. They are alarm clocks for us. They're alarm systems. So when we feel that anger, that fear, it's an alarm saying, pay attention, you're out of alignment. So what you need to do is stop what you're doing and think, all right, what am I thinking right now? If you're not thinking anything horrible, like, you're just going about your day, then it's not that. What are you watching? Who's around you? What's impacting your emotion? And once you do that, you can shift it. And you don't push it away. You don't say, oh, I just don't want to think about that, because then what you're doing is you're stuffing down that emotion, and that energy is trapped in the body. And those low frequency vibrating emotions actually damage the cells of our body, because they make us release hormones that actually damage that body. The stress hormone, cortisol, is a perfect example of that, as opposed to serotonin and endorphins, which are the happy hormones. Those bathe the cells of the body. So if you know someone who's chronically stressed, they're probably sick as well, in some way, shape, or form, because especially if they've been living that way. It's one thing to go through, a stressful period. That happens. But to live chronically in stress, you're going to have chronic illness as well, because you're not managing the emotion, the energy, the science of it, the energy in the body, and it's staying there and it's damaging cells. It's causing cancer. It's causing back problems. It's causing get your immune system is compromised. And what a lot of people do is they take medicines that cover instead of dealing with the underlying cause of it. So I say do both. Use that Western medicine, but also get in touch with your energy and unpack what you're telling yourself, unpack the limiting beliefs that are causing you to have these emotions to begin with. So it's the mind and the body, it's all connected, and going through the whole body, just like the blood vessels in the body, are energy systems. They're pathways, so energy has to flow. It's like if you have a blockage in your artery and blood can't get through, you're going to have a problem. If your energy does not flow, there's going to be a problem. So there's a science behind it. It's not all woo And that's what a lot of people think. Oh, it's energy related. That's woo. That's out there. That's tree hugger. And it's not. It's science. It's physics. And I'm a science teacher, so I like bringing in that part with my clients to get them to understand what's happening inside the body.
I love that. I love that. Um, One of the questions I'm actually very curious about is you're talking about warning signs, and I love talking about traffic lights, red lights, green lights. Our bodies are always giving us these signals, but why do you think people sometimes ignore these early symptoms, right? Until the body actually starts screaming and starts developing these chronic conditions that you're talking about. Because, like you said, our body is giving us warning signs, but why do you think sometimes they just ignore them?
It's limiting beliefs, and it's being raised with a limiting belief is nothing more than a story that you tell yourself. So an example is someone might they might have a long day and they're tired and they've got a backache. So they sit down, but then their brain's telling them, you're being lazy. You need to get up. You have laundry to do. You have dinner to cook. So what do? We get up. We do the laundry. We cook dinner. We're ignoring our body saying, I need to rest. A good example is today I wasn't feeling very well and I needed to sleep. And I forced myself to get the rest that I needed. I knew that I need to get this rest because I don't.
Oh. Sorry about that, Beth. You disappeared there for a quick sec while you were talking about limiting belief. Can you quickly just go over the last bit you just talked about?
Sure. Did you get the part where I was talking about where I was sleeping or I allowed myself to nap?
Yeah, I think we just got the beginning of that, and then your screen disappeared.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think, let me go back. The big reason people ignore is because of limiting beliefs. And those are stories that we tell ourselves. And an example is one that we're lazy if we don't do what we're supposed to do. So you get home, you're not feeling well, you don't want to cook dinner, but your brain is saying you need to do this, so you do it. I can't give you, there are millions of examples of limiting beliefs that we are raised with or that we, decide on our own from our own experiences that we're going to believe, and they're not supportive. So one of the big ones I think though is that we are programmed almost to not pay attention until that red light is there. What do? A lot of us, when the light is yellow, we go faster so we can make it through.
Yes.
So instead of slowing down, we go faster because we want to get through the light, right? So a lot of us, again, are like, oh, I'm going to push through the pain. And that's a very common thing with a lot of athletes. If you're feeling a little pain, I'll push through it. So I think just society in general is more apt to encourage people to do that. If you're not feeling well and you call into work, you can sometimes get in trouble for calling into work. So, people, I think we're expected to push through discomfort. And that's one thing. But when you're really sick or you really need to take time, we feel guilty if we do for ourselves. So again, that's a limiting belief. So it's all about limiting beliefs, the stories that you tell yourself. What's more important, work or your health? You can't work if you're down in the dumps, you know what I mean? So you might as well take the time before you get to that point where you need surgery or you need something severe. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself.
So, what are some of the common signs that your body's telling you that people tend to dismiss or like misread or just, run the yellow light through?
Yeah, well, and then here's the thing too, what I'm thinking as you ask that, Minna, is a lot of people, we don't want to go on the opposite either. Like if we're having an upset stomach, our brain goes to, oh my God, I've got cancer of the stomach. You know what I mean? So we don't want to do that either. It's like it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act, and it's a trust in yourself. It's learning how to trust yourself and trust that, no, this doesn't feel right. I need to sit. So I think the answer to that is it could be any symptom. It could be a knee problem, a back problem, a headache, I think it's a matter of stopping yourself and being aware. What am I feeling right now, and why am I feeling that way? Am I ignoring something, or am I not ignoring it? So I think it's such a balancing act. I don't know if I can come up with like one specific answer for that, because it's really about learning how to trust your body. And that's a process. It's a process of awareness, and it's a practice. It's not only a process, but it's a practice that you need to do every day, to pay attention when something doesn't feel right, when something feels off. And if it's like, you know, you have a head cold. Okay, you have a head cold. How long does it last? How long are you going to let it go before you go to the doctor? And that's an individual thing. I always tend to bring my daughter before I go, because I know my body. I know that, okay, after 3 days, this is what's going to happen. And if it's still longer than that, then I'll go. But with her, I tend to go sooner because I'm not in her body. I can't feel what she feels. So I think the overarching answer to that is to learn how to trust yourself and tap into your body. And that takes practice. It takes awareness, and it takes the desire to want to do it instead of ignoring, and understanding that ignoring is a limiting belief. You're used to doing it. You were told that, maybe perhaps as a child, you were told stop complaining. So you did that, you stopped complaining, and you internalized everything. I can tell you everything shoots back to a limiting belief. Everything goes back to the stories that you tell yourself. And so if you're not doing something, there's a reason why. There's a story behind it that's stopping you from doing it. So that's where the work comes in. Unpacking what that belief is. What were you told as a child? What were you told as a teenager, as an adult? What did you carry with you? What are you telling yourself now? As I sit here right now, what am I telling myself about this thing that I'm not doing? Why am I not doing it? Because there's a reason for it. If I'm not eating healthy, why am I not eating healthy? What's the reason for it? The food doesn't make me feel good when I eat junk, but I'm still doing it. Why? What's the reason? Oh, maybe I don't want to be seen. Maybe, there's so many things to it. So limiting beliefs are really the underlying issue for everything that we do.
So once you realize you got some limiting beliefs, and that's why you're having these signs come in, what is the next step to break through those limiting beliefs? Because, understanding that your dad says, like for me is like, I was big in coach, right? You sprain your ankle, your coach says, walk it off, right? You know what I'm saying? And so growing up, if I ever get hurt, I'll just walk it off. But like that might be like you said, a signal telling you something else is bad going on. So even though now it's like, okay, I remember my coach telling me walk it off, but what is the next steps to taking action after that though?
I think the next step is determining if that is actually your belief or not. Because if it's a limiting belief, it doesn't feel good. If it's a supportive belief, it does. So if you tell yourself, yeah, I can just walk this off, and that feels good to you, that feels aligned, you're listening to your inner knowing, then that's what you do. But if you say, oh, I need to walk this off, but you're not feeling, you have a pit in your stomach, or you have a heaviness in your chest, and you're not happy about just having to walk it off, there's a limiting belief that's guiding you to walk it off. Then what you do from there is you understand that it's not supporting you anymore, and you shift it. And you shift it to an empowered belief. No, I understand that this belief is what I was raised with, but I don't believe that. That's a lie. And it's kind of like talking yourself off of a ledge each time. Like, no, this is not a belief that supports me. I don't believe this. Yes, I was told it, but it doesn't support me. So I'm going to choose different. And you're not pushing it away. You're just saying, okay, I'm going to look over here. And I'm going to say, okay, what do I need? I need to sit down and rest. or I need to go to the doctor to get it looked at. And that takes practice, because your brain's going to want to bring you back to what it always does. It's the ego likes the known. It likes knowing what to expect, even if it doesn't support you. So you're always going to be dragged back to, okay, I'm just going to walk it off. So that's where the awareness comes in. Does it feel right to me to walk this off? If it's just a little twist and you're like, oh yeah, I'm fine, and you legitimately feel like you're fine, then you're good. But if you're like, no, I'm going to walk it off, but it doesn't feel right, no, there's something wrong, that's when you have the choice. That's where the work comes in to say, no, this is just my old version of me that's saying to walk it off. I'm going to choose differently. And it is a choice. It absolutely is a choice. We don't have a choice in when those limiting beliefs come up, because a lot of them are subconscious, and they just come up out of nowhere. But once you recognize them, that's where the choice comes in. You can shift it to an empowered belief.
Can you give us one example or story from, one of your coaching sessions? How someone would shift from a low frequency of fear and guilt and frustration into a higher frequency of self-love and clarity and trust?
Well, number one, it does take time, but you absolutely can do it in the moment. And a lot of times what I'll do with my clients right then and there, I'll have them unpack what belief it is that's taking the wheel at that time. And I'll have them actually give that version of themselves what it needs. So literally talk to that version of themselves. What do you need? Well, I need to be heard. I need a hug. Because usually it's our younger self, our younger versions of ourselves that needs the help. So if I have a client that comes and says, I'm having a hard time, I have one client right now that I can think of that has a hard time being alone. She doesn't like being by herself. She wants to be with other people. So we delved into that, and she felt abandoned as a child. So every time someone leaves, she feels abandoned. So I think one of the things I do with her is to recognize it, give that version of her that is afraid what she needs. She just needs to be comforted. She just needs to know she's okay. She needs to know that being alone sometimes is a good thing, because she can do this, 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 and this. So it's making them see and giving them evidence to support that empowered belief. Give me examples of how this new belief that I can be alone, what's the good part of that? What good's gonna come of being by yourself? Oh, well, I don't need to fight for the shower with anybody. I don't need to share my food. I don't need to. So that's really the big part of it, is identify the belief, shift it, and then find evidence to support that new empowered belief. Because we can say all we want, oh yeah, I'm happy being alone. But if you don't really feel it within you, it's not going to stick. So finding the evidence to support when you are okay being alone and why it's okay being alone. That's the beauty. The beauty's in the contrast. So if you know what you don't want, you know what you do want.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So it really sounds like you said, when you're asking yourself, we talked about in the first segment about the gut feeling, it really is almost like tapping into your intuition, because some people call that woo woo, but at the same time, it's like we all have this gut feeling when something is feeling off and something is feeling right. So that's what you're basically saying, is like when we're asking ourselves, you're trying to get that feeling of, does it feel right or does it feel off, right? And I think
yes, and listen to it the first time. Ask yourself, does this feel right? Listen to the answer. Don't let your brain kick in.
Correct. I love that. We're going to take another short break, and then in the next segment we're going to dive into some strategies you can help people to listen to their bodies more.
Is your skin aging, dry, tired, and dull? Are you putting on more and more makeup to cover the fine lines and flaws? Now you don't have to. Coolness Skincare, developed by a middle-aged woman just like you. 2 years in formulating. Pearlescent face and eye serum cream with Schisandra berries and dragon's blood extract for your face, eye, and neck. And the vegan version, Deep Love Face Cream, featuring powerful blue tansy. This face cream is everything you are looking for. Feel your beauty. Visit coolness.com or scan the QR code for more information.
Welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life show. We have Beth Iaciofano. Oh my God, I can say pizza easily in Italian, but I have problems pronouncing your last name. In the first segment, we're talking about, for so many people, there's always a turning point that starts you on your journey. And it was your daughter, if all things, to start you on your journey to where you are, leading people to, to listening more to their bodies with their energy and to help people mind shift, right? Just changing their mind on how they believe in their negative beliefs and how to change them. So, for our viewers out there right now, what is the first thing someone can do today to begin listening to the body rather than maybe ignoring it or even fighting it?
I think the most important thing is awareness. And before you can be aware, you need to quiet your mind, because there's so much chaos going on in our brains at any given time. Never mind the chaos in the world, but the chaos in our brain. So especially if you've had a long day or you're at work or whatever it is, it's hard to listen to your body when you have your brain going in lots of different directions. So taking time to do breathing, different breathing exercises. 4-7-8 is one of my favorites when I'm feeling stressed. You breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for 7, and let it out for a count of 8. It really slows the heart rate down. It stops that fight or flight response. So there's different breathing techniques you can do. So many mindfulness techniques. One of my favorite ones I do with my clients is I have them pick up an object. So for example, this crystal that I have, and I would have them focus on it for a minute and pay attention to the colors in it, how heavy it is, what does it smell like, anything, is it smooth, is it rough, whatever they choose. And what they're doing is they're blocking everything else out except for this one thing. And that helps center them. So mindfulness is really important. If you're outside in nature, especially, really be present. Pay attention to the beauty around you. Look at the leaves, look at the flowers. Pay attention to what you're hearing. Oh, I hear all these different birds. Or if you're near the water, what do you smell? So being aware and being present and calm is the first step to listening to your body, because you cannot do that unless you have an ability to tap into it. And I had a hard time with that for so many years because I was just used to going and going and going and being in that fight or flight. So once you do that and you quiet your mind, then you can listen. And it sounds bizarre, but one of the things I have my clients do to pay attention to that feeling in their body is I have them say out loud, my name is, and then say a name, and pay attention to how that feels. Like, so for me, I would say, my name is John. That doesn't feel right to me. My name's not John. Then I say, my name is Beth. Oh, that feels right. So it's just paying attention to yes or no things. Like that, this leaf is green. This crystal is orange. No, it's not orange, it's purple. So paying attention to how your body feels with these silly little things, these yes or no answers, is a good start to listening to the body. Like, how does that feel? And if you can't get there, just keep doing it. Because some people that have the crazy chaos in the mind, it's hard. And meditating is great. Not everybody can meditate in the pure sense of it, of sitting quietly and going inward. But the mindfulness is a way to meditate because you're quieting your mind. So you don't have to sit cross-legged and say Om to meditate. It can be walking by the ocean. It could be walking outside, going hiking, being in your own house, drinking a nice cup of tea in the quiet, listening to music, tapping. I do EFT. That's another great technique to use to get energy flowing through the body. So before you can listen to your body, you need to quiet your brain. And that's the way that's what I work with my clients on, and that's what works for me. Journaling is great, a great way if you like to journal. Dump journaling is a phenomenal way to get energy out because you're literally just writing. There's no judgment because no one's going to read it. It could just be you scribbling, but you're releasing the energy and you're saying whatever you need to say. Doesn't matter how bad it is or what you might feel about it, just get it out. So there's lots of different, I'm going to share that with you as well, that document that's a freebie for your audience, different ways to quiet the mind. That's the first thing you need to do in order to then listen to your body and know when it's saying yes or no.
So that, I think it gives us a lot of So Beth, I think you gave us a lot of great tools to learn about intuition. For someone that's just starting, can you give us like a simple daily practice for people to start to reconnect to the body signals?
The quieting the mind. Find a way to quiet your mind. Use those tips and find what works for you. Then you can even have a little I don't want to say keep a journal because you're not going to walk around with a journal, but pay attention to your day, even if it's a half an hour of it, and take that half an hour and tap into your body. Be present with what you're feeling. If you're at work, be present with how your body's feeling. If someone comes into your room, how do you feel? Are you feeling happy? Do you feel a tenseness? If your boss comes in, how are you feeling? If you're at home and the kids start yelling, what's that doing to you? Are you calm about it? Are you upset about it? So start paying attention to your emotions. Pay attention to what you're feeling, how you're feeling inside your body. Happiness feels different than sadness. You just have to tap into it. So it's almost like teaching a child to run. They have to learn to walk first. So the way you walk in this field is to pay attention to your emotions and how they feel in the body. How does sadness feel versus happiness? Just go into your body. Okay, I'm really happy right now. What does that feel like? Do I feel like I'm walking on air? Do I have any pains in my body? Am I paying attention to? As opposed to, oh, I'm really sad today, or I feel frustrated. How does that feel? Is my heart racing? So paying attention to your emotions is going to help you tap into your body, because then you can say, okay, I'm feeling off. It's kind of like getting a baseline for these emotions of how they feel inside your body. And then you know, okay, I'm not feeling happy right now. What's going on? Not that you need to feel happy all the time, but as an example, when you feel off, I don't feel this way. This is the way I want to feel, but I feel this way. And sometimes, you know what? We just need to feel bad for a day. We just need to get it out for a couple hours and just be sad or be angry or be whatever. And I say to my clients, please do that. allow yourself to feel all the emotions, because that's what makes us human. Just don't get stuck in the low frequency vibration emotions.
So what we're really, helping people do, what you help people do, not what we help people do, right, is really tap into the body awareness first, right? Just be aware
Yeah.
of what's going on, listen to your negative talk. And I love, your little exercises of the yes and no, yes and no statements, because I think that really will train your body how it feels when it's a no, right? Holding that shiny egg you had, your crystal.
Yeah.
We're originally from California. A lot of people had crystals in California. And then basically next is just realizing that your body is your ally, because your body is actually telling you what is right, what is wrong, right? But mostly it sounds like we need to take action, right? To change that, to change that feeling, to change that energy in your mind, to do that mind shift, right? All of these three things that we're talking about, which one do you think people have the most problems working with?
Well, I think ultimately probably following through, but a lot of people are not aware of what's happening inside their body either. So, but I'd have to say, if I had to choose one, it would be the follow through. It would be the changing, because that can be very scary for people to change, because they are used to being a certain way, and they're used to handling life in a certain way, and they don't know any other way to be. So saying to them, oh, this, if you do this, this is going to make you feel better. Well, I don't know that. So I don't know that I want to leave my security to try it. And that's what it is. It's developing the trust to do it, and to do it every day, and to try it, and understand that it takes consistency. This does not happen overnight. You're not going to say, I'm going to start, I'm going to be aware of my beliefs and shift them overnight, and I'm going to be happy and everything's going to be good. It takes consistency. It's a muscle. This is like a muscle. If you want to build it, you need to work at it. If you want a healthy body, you need to work at it. If you want a healthy mind, you need to work at it. And it's oh my God, it's so worth it. 100% worth it. Because I can't tell you how much happier and more peaceful I am now than I was before. And it doesn't mean I don't go back. I do. My ego wants to bring me back to how I dealt with things before. The only difference between me and someone just starting out is that I recognize it sooner, and I have the tools that I can use to shift it. And it is a choice to shift. And if you are deciding to not shift it, there's a limiting belief that's causing you not to. And just recognize it for what it is. Maybe you're just not ready, and that's okay. Not everybody is ready to make a change. But when you are ready to make a change, that's where the consistency is important. To pay attention every day, every second, pay attention. It sounds exhausting, but it's actually not. It's just an embodiment. It becomes an embodiment. It's like a muscle. It just is there for me, and it's strong, and I use it every day. So it's lean, and it works. So I think I think people struggle with different things, but I think the most important, I can't even say most important, because if you're not aware, you can't change it. And once you become aware and you've identified, then you need to shift. So they're all important. It really is. It's a complete package. You can have the others, but if you don't have all of them, you won't have lasting change. That's the difference, the lasting change.
So Beth, let's bring it back to your daughter. You being the caregiver and you practicing the energy work for yourself, how does that help your daughter?
Oh my gosh, so much. Because she feels my energy. And 100%, if I am off, she is off. And so when she screams, it's funny because Andy, you heard her at the beginning. So I went and told my husband, I said, you need to watch Hannah because if she starts, they're going to hear it. And she feeds off of my energy like all kids do, like all humans do. We just ignore it. So when I am feeling uptight, she acts out 100% of the time. And when she acts out, if I respond with that same energy, it just escalates. So it's me paying attention. Okay, take a deep breath. Literally, breathing is so important. So a nice deep breath where you're getting oxygen to the bottom lobes of your lungs. So I calm myself. 478 is really important for me. And approach her in a different way. And then she de-escalates. But if I meet her energy where it is, where if it's low, it doesn't work. So she absolutely is a magnet for my energy. And it's frustrating because maybe I just want to be angry. You know what I mean? I just want to be in a mood, and she's going to compound it. So it's important that I take note of that because she's a mirror for me 100% of the time.
That is amazing. So, for all our viewers out there, if there is one thing that everyone should remember from our interview today, what would it be? And you mentioned a free giveaway. How can that help?
Well, the free giveaway is how to quiet your mind. So that's the tool to help you get to the first part, which is the awareness part. Because you cannot be aware of how you're feeling until you quiet that mind. So I think the takeaway is that you absolutely can experience the reality that you desire. We get in our own way, and we get in our own way. The way we see the world is based on our belief systems. So if you are seeing the world in a light that does not feel good, it's your belief system that's creating that. So in order to shift it, recognize it, do the work to actually shift and transfer it. Say, no, I'm not going to see the world this way. I want to see it this way. We do have the ability to do it. And a lot of people say, oh, I've been this way my whole life. I'm not going to change now. Well, that's a choice. That's a choice to have that mindset of you can't teach an old dog new tricks, because you absolutely 100% can teach an old dog new tricks.
That is amazing, Beth. I think for most people, like you said, they can listen to the body, they can maybe even acknowledge their negative self-talk. But when it comes down to doing that mind shift, I think it comes down to accountability. It is really hard to do that ourselves, even though we know the benefits of it.
Yeah.
For all our viewers out there that need help in doing this mind shift to help, to get a more resilient mindset and to reach from a frequency of low energy all the way up to a higher frequency, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
My website is riseuptotransform.com. And my website is riseuptotransform@gmail.com. So either of those ways is great. And I also have you'll see the Tips to Quieting the Mind freebie, but I also have a self-paced online course of
Nice.
this process that is also on the website.
Amazing. And we have the QR code. If you scan on that, it goes straight to our calendar. And for the calendar for your 30-minute consult, is that something you can guide people on which is the next best logical step?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a getting to know you type of thing. And if they want to work with me, this is the way to start. But yeah, it's a conversation, a half-hour conversation of where they are, and give them a few tips. And then if they want to continue, then we go to the next steps from there.
Amazing, Beth. Thank you for all the information and the inspiring story, with sharing your story about your daughter.
Thank you for having me.
Join us here every Friday at 7 p.m. on e360tv.com on the Vitality Network, or you can watch all past episodes at youtube.com at Chronically Healthy Life. And of course, swing by our website, chronicalhealthylife.com, to elevate your longevity. And check out our brand new healing skincare that's actually designed by Minna right here. Until then, stay vibrant, stay fierce, and stay ridiculously, unapologetically,
See you
chronically
next week.
healthy. We'll see you all next week.